Hello, just chilling out here in the workshop. Got a few things on the go. Sitting on the bench, I have a assembly project. It's a replica of an early Stratocaster I'm putting together for a friend. Also working on a repair job on a Marshall JCM 900 that's popping a lot of fuses. And got a new pedal on the go. It's a new distortion pedal. Sounds pretty cool. It's made from some big old vintage salvaged parts. I got it boxed up, so it has a pretty warm sound. And that's about it for musical stuff. Also like to play every once in a while with a different kind of music from a different spectrum, neat electronic stuff and weird science things. So I thought tonight I'd do a little show and tell on a Tesla coil project that I put together. Years ago, my father and I built a Jacob's ladder, and it was pretty fun to play with, and we talked about putting together a Tesla coil. We never got around to it, so I finally decided to do one. I didn't want to necessarily build a monster for my first build, so I wanted to go a little safer and do a smaller desktop one. So I was cruising around on the internet looking for some plans. I found Tony Van Ruin's site, and there was a great little set of plans for the Solid State Tesla Coil. It's a little desktop one, reasonably safe, and it came together fairly well. So I did a lot of sourcing around my junk boxes and on the internet and just asking around my friends for parts, and managed to pull all the pieces together to put this one together. It's kind of neat. I figured I'd show it off. So here goes. Taking the power from the wall, 120 volts, and goes into this switch unit here, which has an on switch, off switch, and a fuse for safety. A little indicator light, though the sound of the thing certainly lets you know it's running. Then over here I've got a transformer that takes the 120 down to 18 volts, and it's mounted on a couple of wooden pegs there. And then over here we have the box here that holds the oscillator circuit. It's a 555 timer chip running in self-oscillating mode. Get a little pulse. So that's a solid state part of the whole thing. And that feeds it into these two transistors. They're mounted on a little mount. It's a lid from a project box bent up. And they sort of act as toggle switches and send things into this automotive ignition coil here, which gives us the high voltage we need, which then feeds it into these this bank of door-knob capacitors, 1500 picofarads. They're pretty neat. They look pretty sci-fi, so I put them on a mount to kind of showcase that with the bus bar across it. And they discharge, when they get charged up, they discharge into this spark gap here. It's a piece of 12 gauge copper wire, and then a smaller piece, I guess 26 or so gauge wire on the other side, and that's where the spark jumps, makes things happen, and discharges into this primary coil, which is it's a piece of PVC pipe of 4.5 inches wound up with some number 12 gauge copper wire that's stripped at every foot or so for the last few turns, because it's pretty hard to find a variable capacitor at this high voltage for this. So so by having it stripped there, you can tap in at certain points and get it better tuned. And so then you have the secondary coil here, and this was fun. It's 1,300 turns of number 26 gauge enamel wire, and around a piece of 2-inch PVC pipe. And at the top of it, there's a little cap that I built. It's all plumbing supplies, and it's got a little piece of wire cast in there and a little insulator, and that's attached, and that's discharges from there. At some point I'll put a toroid on it and plate. Meantime, there's also a ground rod on the side here too. So anyhow, it's fairly safe, and I'm going to plug it in and fire it up and show you a few things. Well, that's my desktop Tesla coil. Thanks for watching the video, and remember, it sucks to get zapped, so be very careful when you're playing with this sort of stuff. This one's not too bad, very low current, and it's not so bad, but be very, very careful when you're playing with these things, and otherwise, have a great night. Later.